What's up, guys, and welcome back to my next episode of The Truth Is. I'm your host, Jamie. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, let's get into it. So, pretty much, y'all know me. It's been a hot second since I've been here. I haven't been as consistent with this podcast as I probably should be. I'm still figuring out really where I'm taking this and what I want to do, but just like life, we'll figure it out along the way, right? But I wanted to talk about accountability. Who holds you accountable? You know, and that is huge. I've realized, for the most part, I hold myself accountable. I always have, especially when it comes, obviously, mainly to my career and my dreams. I know nobody's coming to save me. I know, for the most part, nobody's coming to help me. It's on me. You know, it's on me to get up and go to the gym. It's not on my coaches or anybody else to get me up and out of the bed or get me motivated to go do what I have to do for the day. And that's extremely important. You know, if you can't look yourself in the mirror and be able to say, you know, I have XYZ to do today, and then you just flake off and don't do anything, you're never going to get shit done. You know what I mean? Like, you have to hold yourself accountable, and you have to hold yourself to a higher standard, or else nothing will get done, and your dreams and all the stuff you're trying to work towards, it's not going to work. You know, but along with holding yourself accountable, I've realized you also have to have people in your life that do it as well. And looking around at my circle, I have an amazing group of family and friends. I really do. But I look for the people now as I get older. I look for people that challenge me. You know, not just the yes men. You know, people that say yes to everything and anything I want to do. Those are bad people to have around you. Very, very bad, because if they are going to yes you to death and say yes to anything, I'm not going to say they don't care about you, but they kind of don't. Like, not fully. And you know, you can have friends support you, but that doesn't mean they're going to hold you accountable. You know, the people that are going to, you know, besides challenging you, hold you to a higher standard. You know, friends and family members or lovers or whoever, you need these people to point out where you're failing. You know what I mean? Like, and not just failing, you know, nobody likes to hear that word, but that's just a part of fucking life. Failing and winning, bro. Like, you're gonna fail, you're gonna win. But, you know, to have people in your life that, you know, are gonna say, yo, this doesn't really align with what you're trying to do. At least what you say you're trying to do. At least the stuff you're saying to me, the math ain't mathin', okay? You need people in your fucking life to tell you the math ain't mathin' and you're fucking up. I was trying to keep this podcast episode maybe a little bit lighter, but no, for real. Like, you have to have those people in your life. And I kind of realized I'm that person in a lot of people's lives, but I don't really have a lot of people in my life that hold me to a higher standard. Like I said, my friends and family are a great group of people. They love me, hands down. I know that. They support me in everything I do, and I love that. You know, and I've realized, for what I'm trying to pursue, you know, in my career and in my life, I have to have those people that, you know, see where I'm doing good, but just keep pushing me to do better. You know, just keep pushing me to become a better woman, a better athlete, a better human being. You know, I think that's extremely important in your life. You know, not to have the negative birds squawking in your ear talking about the shit you should be doing or shouldn't be doing. Okay, calm down now, brother. Stick with me, guys. You know, but it's very important, and that's what I'm starting to realize. You know, you can have all different sorts and groups of friends, but I think, you know, as you get older, you start to realize that it's very, very, very important to have like-minded people that also drive and push you to be better. Or you'll always be stagnant and you'll stay where you're at, or even fall to a lower level than you ever should even be at. So, but with that being said, you know, this is what I really wanted to talk about, was I recently went to group meeting. Um, Long story short, the vice president of my fight promotion, BKB, Don, his wife, his wonderful, beautiful wife, Andrea, is a one-on-one coach, primarily for women, but she does it for businesses and entrepreneurs and things like that, and kind of coaches you, through where you're at in life and what you could be doing, et cetera, right? And Don had sent me over this information, and I can't lie. At first, I was like, I'm not doing that. But I love that he did that, because this whole thing that just happened to me, this group and meeting, whatever you want to call it, that I went to, was honestly a game changer for me. It helped me get out of my little bubble that I've been living in, and forced me to meet with a group of women I've never met in my whole entire life. Sit in a classroom or a room, and we were there for a couple hours talking and actually opening up a little bit about, what's really going on with us. So it was just a really neat thing for me to do, and I really recommend this to everybody. But before I really recommend it, I want to talk about what we talked about, which we started with. I'll show you guys the Wheel of Life. It pretty much, the Wheel of Life, it talks about, we have career, recreation, love and romance, friends and family, personal growth, environment, money, and health. It's your whole circle of life, what everything kind of revolves around, right? And we had to rate from 1 to 10, basically where we think we're doing the worst at, failing miserably, to the best at. So we had to rank them. I'm not going to tell you guys my rankings, because that's not your business. But we did that, and it put everything on paper so I could actually visually see. It's one thing, like, I am a visual person. Like, when I'm training and fighting, my coaches have now learned you have to physically show me, because you could talk all you want, but the words, it just doesn't work the way my brain works. I have to see it. And I've always known that, so I write a lot of things down or put them in my notes on my phone. So to have this visual with the Wheel of Life, I could really put on paper where my life is at now, and then it shows where I could grow more, and it got me to see where I want to grow more, and then I could actually focus on at least a minimum of 2 things that I really want to, take to the next level in my life. Andrea had, asked me, where's your energy going, and where do you want to put your energy? And also, where's your energy going that is basically a succubus? Get it away from there. Wherever your energy, if it's a person, a place, or a thing, if it is draining you and is sucking the life out of you, you need to get away from the people, the place, the thing, because that's not where your energy should be going. Your energy should be going on what you want in life. And, the 2 main things that I decided to focus on, I will tell you guys this, was, my career and being financially stable. You guys know, for as far as I know, my fight career is great. I can't wait to get back. I have another belt coming up, I'm going to be fighting for. Things couldn't really be any better for me in the fight game. But with that, comes the responsibility of finances, and as a fighter, it's very difficult to deal with. A lot of things come out of pocket, and obviously I do it for the love. It is what it is. But I know I could be better with my money, and I also could make my money work for me. And I want, of course, you guys know, my specific career, there is a deadline. There's an end date. I don't know when it is. I pray that it's in another 5 to 10 years. But this recovery, sitting here, not being able to train and fight for the last 7 months, really put so much into perspective for me. And I really realized, holy shit, one day I'm never going to actually be able to fight again. Like, this little 7 to 9 month time off was very hard. There's going to come a time where the gloves they're not going to go back on. The wraps, I should say, because in bare knuckle we don't wear gloves. But I'm not going to step back in that trigon one day. So now doing this group with Andrea and this group of women really made me focus in. Okay, what do I see for the next 5 years? Where do I see myself, and where do I want to go? And with that being said, I said, holy shit, I really need to get a grip on myself, and I really need to dial in on what is going to make me, my brand as the Red Queen, and my future. How can I take it to the next level? How can I take it to where I'm getting financially reimbursed for, you know, just existing basically. You know, and with that being said, I'm not going to show you guys the whole thing. If you take a screenshot, so be it. We made vision boards, and one of them says, "My existence pays for itself." But yeah, I just want to. Oh, how cool is that? Okay, I don't want you guys to get the whole thing because I really want to keep this for my eyes. But it was really dope to sit there and honestly play arts and crafts, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. I got to put what I need and what I want and what I see for myself in my future on paper. There's no escaping this. Now it's in my room and it hangs above my mirror, so when I get up, I see it. It's right there, smack dab in this. Oh, beautiful things. I have to look at this every day now and see, okay, I see that. What are we doing? How are we making that happen? How are we getting to that next step? And it's not, and I've always been like that, even in fight camps. I know I'm kind of all over the place today, guys. Don't mind me. This is normal. When I'm in fight camp, I always write like a mantra or something on my mirror so I see it every morning that I wake up. That's something huge I do. So now to have this vision board of exactly what I need to be focusing on, exactly what I want to focus on, and where my energy should be going anyway, I'm telling y'all, make the damn vision board. It's fun. You get to fucking play arts and crafts. I mean, shit, I had a blast. I want to do this again. But it really now I have something. I feel like almost like not that it wasn't tangible before, but now I have something I could look at every day. And now I'm making lists and notes of different things I can do to help support myself and help support my brand and where I can take it and it's really helping me dial in on where I want to be in life, what I see in my life, and what I actually want to do. I feel like most people's time is spent doing shit they don't want to do. You know, for a career they don't love or for people they don't love. What? No! Stop that right now. Because life is beautiful, but also life is precious. I love to believe in reincarnation. I love to believe in all that good shit, but we don't know where we're going and if we are going to even come back here. I don't know. So the life and the body and the soul that I have now in this human sack of flesh, I'm going to make it damn worthwhile, and I'm going to do everything I possibly can to do what I want to do in this life during this lifetime while I'm still here, and just make myself happy. Like that is the end game. Is for me personally, doing all this is for the end game of peace, joy, and happiness, man. Like, and whatever that looks like for me. You know, everybody's happiness looks different, but I just, you know, I feel like so many people are stuck in these mundane lives and stuck in these vicious cycles. And I'll speak from experience. You know, you're stuck in these up and down woes of life, but really with no exit or enter strategy. You have like I was having ideas of what I wanted to do with my career, but I wasn't putting it on paper and I wasn't putting it to work. I was kind of just doing, you know, a little bit more than the bare minimum, but there's always more to be done. But you have to be smart, and sometimes you have to sit and you have to work on things, and you need people's help. Let's talk about that for a little. I hate asking people for help. It is the bane of my existence. And the reason I don't like asking for help is just I feel like most people's reasons. You know, you ask people for help, they throw it back in your fucking face. So I'll do it myself. I'll figure it out. If my favorite tagline, I need to get a shirt made. If there's a will, there's a way. And I've literally figured out 90% of the shit in my life I figured out on my own. But damn, is it beautiful and a blessing to not only help others, but to actually get help from other people. And it's okay to ask for help. That's something I'm learning now. It is okay. You can be vulnerable enough. You can drop the ego and you can ask for help. Now, yes, sometimes there's just going to be that fucking jerk off that's still going to throw in your face, well, I did this for you. like whatever. And guess what? Those are the people. Bye. If they're gonna throw something back in your face, I feel like as human beings, we are here. Man, we're all just trying to figure this shit out. Lord have mercy, this shit is hard enough. We are here to help people. We really are, and it doesn't have to be some crazy thing. You don't always have to give money to the homeless. If you do, you're awesome. If you don't, well, maybe you should give $1 here and there. But no, I mean, it's just, I feel like the point of life is to reach out like to these groups. Something I've never done before. Going to this group and meeting Andrea and meeting her as a coach, for like as a life coach and stuff like that. It was just so different and so eye opening for me that I couldn't recommend her or anybody going out and trying something like this. I really recommend it. It's now helped me to, like I said, to see the vision more. It's like I said, more tangible, more concrete of a vision. Now I see like really where I need to be putting my time, effort, and again, energy. Where I need to be putting my energy and where I need to take my energy away. Just like again, I'm a human being. I have boundary issues, and sometimes I have a hard time saying no. But lately, this last year, I've been better at being like no. No. Family and friends, no. It just doesn't work for me right now. I don't have the capacity. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Simply because I don't want to do it. No problem. And if your friends or somebody has an issue because you keep saying no, now granted, okay, you're not going to your freaking someone's I don't know, wedding, just because you don't feel like going. Okay, now come on now, go support your family or whoever. At least sometimes you have to put some things aside and show up for your people, even if you don't want to. Okay, so you can't say no all the time. Sometimes you gotta get out of your own way and go. But yeah, I had a brain fart. Sorry guys. But no, I think it was. This has been one of the most eye-opening experiences for me recently what I've been going through. And like I said, I love that I have this all on paper now, and it kind of there's always a fire underneath my ass, and it's always lit to do something and to always I can't help but want to be better as a human being. I strive to be the best. Everything I'm doing, it's just, I don't know if it's a malfunction of mine or what. I think it's a positive until I let it completely destroy and drain me. But I love now having it more of like the fire. It lit a little bit more because now I kind of have tunnel vision. It's like, okay, I know there's obviously other things I need to focus on in my life, of course, because everything it all intertwines together. It's just, for my life right now and for the life I want to have and lead in the future, there are certain things that are going to take precedent over others. And sometimes it's not that you want it to take precedent over others. It's just, you have to make that choice. So, it's like for me, I want, like I said, financial stability, my career, for that to really, take off and stuff like that. Well, guess what? Things are going to fall to the wayside, family time, friendships, love life, all that stuff. Like, certain things kind of just fall off. But again, and I know my circle's amazing, so I'm truly blessed to have the friends and family that I do. But sometimes with you choosing, and you have to be a little selfish, very selfish if you want to succeed at what you're trying to do. There's going to be people that fall to the wayside, and you're going to see who's really there for you and who's really not when you start doing that. So I think that's just, and it's kind of sad because I've definitely, like I said, in previous episodes, like I've lost friends or people I thought, like, you always kind of want to hope and think people are going to be in your life forever, but that's just not the way it works. People come and go. But who you are and what you want is always with you. The people, how I see it now is like, whether it's a relationship with a guy or a relationship with a woman or a friendship or something with a family member or whoever it is, listen, while you're focusing on getting your life together and building your life and whatever, those people or that person will still be there while you're growing and going through all this. And if they're not, that's okay, because at the end of the day, you still put the time and effort into building an extraordinary life for yourself. So if they're no longer a part of it, that's okay. They weren't fucking supposed to be. There's always a better man, a better woman, a better job, a better. There's always something better. Now I'm not saying the grass is always greener. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that shit. Okay, but if they stay while you're working through this shit, they stay. If they don't, they don't. That's alright. That's alright. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want to talk to you guys about today. It's been a hot minute, and I really, like I said, this whole experience with, going to this coaching group was very eye-opening for me, and it's got me really, really excited. Even though, I'm not fighting anytime very soon, this has given me now a firmer foundation to start really building on, and now branching off on. It's setting the building blocks. I've been building my career for a very long time, but obviously, as you guys know, there's a whole lot more to it than just me training and fighting. There's building the brand. Aside from getting the sponsorships and opportunities that way, it's building my fan base and my network, and just like I said, building my brand as the Red Queen, and a lot is tied into that. And I'm still, if I'm being honest, I'm still trying to really figure out how to brand myself, because I feel like I always every year or 2 years or even every 6 months, I'm rebranding myself because I'm changing. And with that being said, it's okay to change. Change can be scary. Change is hard. But change is great. If you're especially if you're trying to be a better human being, and really take yourself and your life to the next level, however that may look for you, you have to have the capacity and the will and the openness to change, because you have to be able to kind of be flexible and flow like water. That's something like Bruce Lee said. But be like water, like you have to be able to just kind of go with the flow of life, because it's going to change. Life is going to change and hit you with different things from different angles all the time. So you kind of have to be able to just whoop onto the next, you know what I mean, and just work around this shit. So, and I'm the freaking queen of that. But yeah, just look at who's in your life. There's no problem having your supportive friends, but look at who's holding you accountable. And even if you have to come out of pocket for a life coach to hold you accountable, or you need to set a million alarms, shit, if you need my bitch ass to hold you accountable, hit my line. I have no problem. I don't know, maybe I should be a life coach, because I have no problem keeping people accountable. Because if you tell me something and it's truly what you want to do, I have no problem putting my foot on your neck or up your ass to get you to where you want to be. Yeah. You need people like that. You need people like that in your life. So if you need me in your life, I got you, dog. But yeah, thank you guys for stopping in, listening to me just talk a bunch of circles about life and craziness. And I hope you took away something cool. If not, too bad, so sad. I don't really care. You guys have a blessed day. I'm about to go paddleboarding with my best friend Bree. Peace out.